So I'm Lisa Lehman. I am the 17th Ward Democratic Committee Chair, and joining me today is Corey Williams, who is the 3rd District City Councilor. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate being here.
And I wonder if you could start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself, please.
Sure. Corey Williams. I am currently serving as the city councilor for the third district. I live on Buckingham Avenue. I've been in the neighborhood for, gosh, I lose track, but I think going on 20 years. I originally moved in to be a graduate student. I went to the Maxwell School and wound up finishing a PhD at ESF after that. Um, didn't quite know where my life was going to take me, but wound up finding a job with the Syracuse City School District. I've been there for a little bit over a decade. I work with our non-academic portion of the district, our social workers, our psychologists, our counselors, with the support staff, and like I said, I've been there for more than 10 years. Um, Love the neighborhood, all the people in it, everything that it has to offer, and proud resident and very grateful to be able to represent our neighbors on the common council.
Excellent. And can you, for those out there, just kind of describe for us what are the boundaries of the 3rd District and what are the neighborhoods it
Sure.
includes?
Yep. So the third district is actually a pretty big district. All the way in one corner, we have Lafayette Road and Nob Hill. All the way in the other corner, we have H.W. Smith Elementary, and it kind of comes to a point right up around the university and the hospitals. And so, in terms of neighborhood, we have Outer Comstock, we have ESF, SU and upstate.
Mhm.
Marshall Street, we have kind of the university neighborhood, Westcott, Meadowbrook, and out, it's funny, I actually just refer to it as the 17th Ward, but kind of the hill behind Nottingham and heading out to DeWitt Road and the border off there to the east side. And then we have about half of Salt Springs. It's that which is south of Salt Springs Road. And so, abutting Lemoyne, but not including Lemoyne.
Okay. And what do you see as the most pressing issues in it's a pretty wide
It is.
range of
Yeah, yeah,
places,
yeah.
but what do you see as the most pressing issues?
Right. And so, I think that the issues that we have in our district somewhat parallel our city as a whole. And I think it really comes down to quality of life issues. Um, in terms of my job as a counselor, one thing that kind of surprised me a little bit, I have received more phone calls about controlling vehicular speed, kind of traffic calming. It's
Yeah.
been more
Yeah.
people have called me about than anything else.
For sure.
And, I think about some of the thoroughfares in our neighborhoods and, how to get cars to be a little bit slower. I think about some of the property crime that has been happening throughout the district and making sure that we're able to curtail that. We have deer control,
Hmm.
a perennial issue of the 17th
Yeah.
ward. Gonna have to manage the deer population. Gosh, I think about the parks that we have. We've got Comfort Tyler, we've got Barry, we've got Thorndon. Those are the big parks. We've got a bunch of projects kind of in the queue. Want to make sure that those make it to the finish line. But overall, I think that the biggest concerns are making sure that our residents and our constituents have a neighborhood that is safe and accessible, somewhere where they want to spend their time, raise their kids, and everything else.
All right. And let's connect those things with the city
Yeah.
council for a
Yeah.
minute. So you're on the council now. What are some of the ways that the city council can impact those issues?
Right. And so ultimately, kind of big picture, the job of the city council, we have two main roles and responsibilities.
Mhm.
Um, One is to appropriate funds. We pass a budget, and every meeting and a series of expenditures come in front of us, and we more often than not we pass them and kind of allow spending to go ahead. And the other is to create local laws, local ordinances, and local legislation that can kind of help shape the variety of things. I think that really it comes down to, I think the most effective way to make sure that we see progress in the neighborhood is to have a good working relationship with the administration.
Mhm.
I think that we all learned lessons from last year's budget cycle. I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit. Um, but I think that we really need to work collaboratively with whoever is in the mayor's office, identify priorities and making sure that our spending aligns with our priorities. In terms of everyday issues, constituents can reach out to my office at any point, and I'm on the phone pretty regularly with all the various commissioners and folks in DPW and police and all the variety of city departments to make sure that some of the issues that are occurring get resolved quickly and in a appropriate manner.
I don't normally ask this, but because you raised it, I know that we're, entering a period where some of the federal money is drying up pretty fast, and there are definitely budget concerns. Can you speak
Mhm.
to a little bit like what do you think the council's approach should be towards fiscal responsibility, but also, taking care of needs of the city going forward?
Yeah, and I think that kind of as you outlined, there's a balance. And the city for a number of years has had what we call a structural deficit,
Mhm.
meaning that we are projected to spend more money than we take in. And that's a really difficult and tricky part or tricky place to be in because we all want everything. But when we have limitations, we can't have maybe everything on our wish list. And so we really have to prioritize. Um, Moving forward, following the election in November, I am running unopposed. And so I'm
Mhm.
hopeful and assuming that I will have the pleasure of serving on the council again for the upcoming session. But prior to that, I plan on meeting with whomever is the mayor-elect and
Mhm.
starting that process well before
Yeah.
the council gets the budget delivered on April 1st. And, it really is identifying what do we care about as a city? What do you as the mayor-elect care about? What do you want to advance? What is your agenda? What are your priorities? And making sure that we have the money to invest in that particular area. Um, you alluded to the challenge with federal funding, and it's
Yeah.
real. We had an agenda item in front of us today that had been paused because we weren't sure whether or not federal funds were going to be able to come through for that. And when I think about the fact that we have a pretty robust rainy day fund right now, our savings, it could go real fast if we lose a bunch of our federal funds. And, I'm cognizant and aware of that challenge, while still trying to make sure that we have, services and the amenities that will make us a desirable location and competitive with the suburbs as we're trying to, you know, to benefit from the micron boom that
Yeah.
should be, hopefully starting pretty soon.
Okay. And just for clarity for those out there, the budget gets originated with the mayor's office, right? They
Correct.
drop a
Yep.
budget, they bring it to the council, and then there's kind of a back and forth, right?
Yep. And so the mayor's office delivers the budget. The council has the opportunity to make amendments to the budget, and then the mayor's office can choose to veto or accept the amendments. And there's a little bit of back and forth, but I think one thing that I learned is that it's all about the pre-work. It's about getting going early, and I know that there's a lot of moving parts, but perhaps we should have started the dialogue a little bit earlier than we did last year.
Interesting. And budget time is in April, you said?
Correct. We get delivered the budget on April 1st, and then typically we hold our budget hearings through the month of April.
Okay. All right. And then I'm curious just to back up a little bit. As we mentioned, you're serving now. What caused you originally to decide to run, and like what motivates you?
Yeah, I think that I have a really strong and powerful belief in the ability of government to be an actor for positive change in the lives of people every day. And it really comes down to that. I believe in our government. I think that it can provide for the will of the people and make our communities a better place. I've always been active and engaged in the neighborhood and in the community. And as we look at the transition around 81 coming down and have an opportunity to reimagine what our city might be able to look like and what we might be able to do, that was really exciting. And given all of the potential changes and the impact of Micron, um, ton of possibility, but also, potential to perhaps, not
A lot
learn
of work
from.
has to be done to make it
Yeah,
worthwhile.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I wanted to be sitting at the table. I wanted to be in the room where discussions were being made. I wanted to be a part of the process. And as I mentioned earlier, I work in the city schools. I travel to our 32 buildings. I'm in every neighborhood of the city every day. And, I see some of the challenges that our families face. And then I see a tremendous amount of, resilience and beauty and incredible things happening all over the city. And it just, it's a place I love, and I want to make sure that I can, you know, help help be part of the solution, right?
That's a good reason. So I'm wondering, for someone who's a constituent like I am, what is the best way to reach you if there's something of concern relating to the council or anything of the
Yeah.
sort?
I always tell people you can call our office any day, Monday through Friday. I don't actually know the phone number offhand, but we've got,
Mhm.
clerical staff, we've got office staff there that will get in touch with us, pretty much immediately. Typically, I try to return my phone calls within about 24 hours. Um, my email is available on the council website. It's Corey Williams, my full name at syr.gov, and those are probably the two avenues by which most people can approach me. I go to the East Side TNT every month. I try to make it to the WNA meeting, WNA, Westcott Neighborhood Association
Mhm.
meetings every month. Outer Comstock has neighborhood association. I try to get there periodically, and I know that Salt Springs has a new up and coming neighborhood
Oh,
association.
great.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of really great work happening in that neighborhood, and I plan on attending those meetings as well. And so people kind of have the virtual, the make a phone call, or the in real life at neighborhood events.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
if someone would like to, I know we're getting very close to Election Day, but if somebody would like to get involved, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, people can find me on Facebook. They can reach out to
Okay.
me on social media. I'd probably prefer it that way than going kind of through the official channels.
Yeah, yeah. Good.
And of course, I have got I serve on the 16th Ward Committee. Pat Bodie's our chair. Reach out to Pat. Yourself as 17th Ward Chair can get in touch with anyone within the Democratic Party. Everyone has a way to contact me, and however it happens, I welcome any help and appreciate the support of the community.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today.
That was quick.
Yeah. And for all you out there, if you find this content helpful, please give us a like. And if you have any comments or questions, please put it right in the comments and we will look for that. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel to hear from all of our great Democratic candidates. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.